Well, I took time out from the kittens and puppies on the Midas Touch Network, and I looked at some reviews, if that's the right word, for whatever that thing was today they call the inauguration of Donald Trump. And to paraphrase George Bush, that was some weird shit. First of all, there's no first of all. Donald Trump's apocalyptic speech, with basically, I don't know what Mussolini's inauguration looked like, but now I think I do. And then you got Melania. Did anybody give her the memo that she's the first lady? And she's always sending some sort of ridiculous message because she never speaks. And when she does speak, everybody wants her to shut up. But she always sends some message with her fashion. I'm going to show this picture. What is this supposed to be? This high corseted black with a black boater hat over her eye. I'm sorry. Was she on I think she was announcing to the world that this was some sort of funeral. This was a funeral for America that Melania Trump was presiding over. That's the only way I didn't know you host a funeral, but that's what she looked like. Is she mourning in America? That was mourning in America, if you know what I mean. It was crazy. And then I thought, all right, well, that's crazy. And then I saw the clips of Elon Musk. Seriously, now I'm starting to side. I never thought I'd say this. I'm starting to side with Steve Bannon, who thinks he's evil incarnate, needs to be removed from the public stage. Elon Musk's got in a moment where he's at the inauguration and he starts to do Nazi salutes. There's no other way to put this. There's just certain things in society that we know them when we see them. And when you extend your hand out, palm down, not once, but twice, I'm sorry if people confuse that with the salute to Adolf Hitler. I know he's not from this country, but he is from a country, and I thought he was Jewish. So you got that weird shit going on. Then you see the arrangement. I'm not done. Then you see the arrangement at the inauguration indoors. He had to take the inauguration inside because it was cold. It was cold. It was 5 degrees warmer than when JFK gave his inaugural speech, and he decided not to wear a coat, a winter coat, because he wanted to show vim and vigor. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's very hard to say when you're wearing a parka or an overcoat. He did it sans top coat. Donald Trump, we got to take it indoors. I'm up pushing 80 years old. I'm out of shape. I don't want to be outside. Look what my wife's wearing. So I go inside. Now, where cabinet members would normally sit, ones that have been nominated at least, the big four, defense, Secretary of State, Treasury, Attorney General, that group, that's where they're supposed to sit. And then maybe the lesser cabinet roles like commerce and CIA intelligence, all that, health and human services. Who does he have in the front row? It's a row of tech billionaires. Is this what MAGA wanted? Bezos, the Facebook guy, Zuckerberg, Apple. This is what they wanted? Man of the people, Donald Trump, man of the people, ran on a populist platform to support the little guy, the little billionaire guy. I don't really understand it. By the way, no women, because there's no women in tech. There's no women at the top of tech because of discrimination and prejudice, not because of performance. So a whole bunch of white guys in their 40s to 60s sitting around where cabinet members should sit, while Melania presides over mourning in America and Musk does Hitler salutes. Then you have the executive orders that are being signed. Let's get rid of diversity, equity, inclusion. Let's announce that there's only 2 genders in America, male and female, that'll be recognized. Talk about mean-spiritedness. That'll be recognized by the federal government. Let's get rid of birthright citizenship. This is all like day one. Let's get rid of birthright citizenship that's enshrined in the 14th Amendment, Section 1. That is granted to everyone who has the fortune to be born on American soil. Nope, let's get rid of that by executive order, which is impossible to do. Let's start deportations on Tuesday in major democratic cities and try to dismantle sanctuary cities. Let's do. I'm sorry. This is like The Handmaid's Tale first season? I read the book, but in the in the TV show, when little by little things started happening to make women second class and third class and fourth class citizens in that culture, in that society. The ATM that didn't work, for the one major character. That's weird. That's funny. She loses her job, all of a sudden dependent on the man. Only the man can make decisions, male hegemony. I'm watching that in full, in broad daylight. Well, under fluorescence, inside, right? That was some weird shit, that was going on up there. I agree with Michelle Obama. I'm just sit in on that. When I heard that the Midas Touch Network was going to do counter-programming, I was like, the Puppy Bowl? Is it close? Is it close, Popok? We're doing puppies and kittens, and we're giving some funds over to help puppies and kittens that were horribly injured or killed in the wildfires. And I was like, it's so genius. That's like so good. Because it was either that or this, this dark turn where Donald Trump says only he can restore dignity to America and its democracy. I mean, one of the reasons I thought maybe he took it indoors to avoid the lightning bolt that was going to come the moment he put his hand on the Bible and swore to uphold and defend the Constitution with Justice Roberts. I was like, don't stand next to that guy. But all kidding aside, it's time to release the Kraken. And the Kraken in this case are the lawsuits by attorneys general, by public interest groups, by groups that we support here on Legal AF and on the Midas Touch Network. Many of them are my friends. Many of them are people that we're going to have on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, on a regular basis, talking about things that are happening around us and what we can do about it and what the court system can do about it. We're going to make the court system do about it. That's why we join forces with Court Accountability Action. Alex Aronson, Lisa Graves. We meet regularly. We talk about things that are important at the intersection of law, politics, and federal courts with them while they're doing some great investigative reporting. And they're in the courts that we talk about. Alex Aronson just helped file an amicus brief, a friend of the court brief about Google in the United States Supreme Court. We're going to have him on here. We're going to talk about that. Yeah. So this is the place for us to meet. This is for us to safely criticize, but bring searing commentary and analysis against those in power. Don't be distracted by, as Ben Meiselas says, the weapons of mass distraction, done the shiny objects. Or as Saturday Night Live said last night during one of the skits, this just in, Trump wants to trade Connecticut for Italy. Oh, mainstream media, what about the failed deportation policy? What about Donald Trump's failed immigration policy? What about Donald Trump's failed tariff policy? What about his failed economic policy? What about his failed inflation reduction policy? What about his failed overseas policies, pulling out of the Paris Accord, his failed environmental policies and climate change policies and clean energy policies? And the list will go on. And we're going to report on it here because you need to have it in the front of your noggin, the front lobe. I want to occupy with the Midas Touch Network and Legal AF that space in your brain so you have this information and you can be articulate about it. And it becomes the fiber of your being because you're going to need it. We're going to need it moving forward to crush Donald Trump at the midterms. We are one day closer to the midterms now than we were yesterday. We are one day off the clock. If you're doing like a prison count at home, one day less of the Trump administration after today. We'll continue to follow it all here on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.